Hello y'all, this is Adam Mitchell with Rockabout Climbing Ventures. Today we are going over a V-rig anchor. This will be off of bolts at Lake Mineral Wells State Park. Here I have it all set up with my trusty assistant, AMGA. She's hot because she just chased something. So I'll show you real quick the whole setup. Essentially it's just two bolts connected with a length of static rope with an edge protection tether with a friction hitch on one of the lines. This is a climb heist in this case. You can see I can easily slide that down to be edge protection while I set up the central point. And looking over the edge here, you can see I have the rope already over with a BHK big honking knot. It comes back up just to an additional bolt here, and then we'll tear this down and show how to build it. And continuing on, so I already have my rope flaked into a pile over here. You don't want to be trying to go off of a coil of rope. It just makes it more tangled, more difficult, and eventually it'll cause you more trouble and be less efficient. So we're going to go off of a pile of rope. I'm going to grab the end of rope, just tie an overhand on a bight here. Clean that up a little better than what it is. I tend to use overhands over figure eights. Either one works. In this situation, there's such a small amount of force put on these, the figure eight could work just as well, but an overhand works just fine. So I'm going to start with the end. I'm going to go to the furthest piece away from my pile. So I've got a bolt just over here. I'm going to clip that and lock the carabiner. And then on this leg, I'm going to go ahead and put my climb heist with my double length runner. This is just a round stock with a cord material. I'm going to build that climb heist by wrapping a short end of loop toward the bolt. That would be a climb heist. If you went wrap the other way, you would be using a different friction hitch technically. Then I'll put a through there. That way when the teardrop here folds down, that'll be what the friction is being pulled across the wraps there. Then I'll go ahead and clip that to my belay loop with a nice locker there. The reason I'm using this climb heist is for edge protection. It's not meant to be something used to go into fifth class. Really shouldn't go into fifth class with a friction hitch alone. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get close to the edge. Part of the reason I use this double length runner is so that while I'm tying the central point, my edge protection isn't going to be messing with the load share. So I'm going to go ahead and get enough of a V out there that I can tie that BHK like that. Then I'm going to come back here. I can even take this off. And I'm going to tie just another overhand on a bight. Clip it to this bolt here. And then I can get back on my climb heist. And I can step down here. The cool thing about the BHK, as long as I'm load shared at the edge of the cliff like this, it'll be load shared in this BHK. So I can just pull that up, grab the double bights, tie the overhand or more, and close that. Two carabiners in this case, and most cases, I would be opposed on the gates. If this BHK to where be laying it on the rock, I would probably choose to have the gates facing the same direction with the back of the carabiners on the spine of the carabiners on the rock versus having gates opposed. The go-to would be gates opposed, and then I can throw my rope on it, toss it to the ground, and then that's my anchor. So I'll grab the camera and just kind of show exactly where we went here. The cool thing about this anchor is you don't really need a ton of material. I need essentially 4 carabiners. I've got 2 lockers on each one of the bolts, but you could have a non-locker and a locker. I would prefer 2 lockers at the central point, but you could in fact there also have a non-locker and 1 locker. So essentially 4 carabiners. The static rope, you can get about a 30-foot piece of static rope, and that would be sufficient for this. We tend to carry longer, that's why I have quite a bit left over. I could in fact build another anchor off a bolt over here and clip this another one to it. And you'll see here I got the central point, and that's a V-rig anchor. Thanks for watching.